Welcome to our next video. This time we're talking about the total product, the average product, the marginal product. So what is total product? Let's say, for example, let's consider a firm producing, say, books. There is a number of workers per day and there is a number of books produced per day. So the number of workers is indicated here. 0 workers produce 0 books. There is no single book that can be produced with no worker at all. If there was 1 worker, situation B, if there was 1 worker, we produce 6 different books per day. If there are 2 workers per day, they produce 10 books a day, and so on and so on. So we have 4 different situations, A, B, C, D. We look at the workers per day and we call it labor. We call it labor on the horizontal axis. And they produce the total product. The total product, the number of books, for example, the number of books is written here on the vertical axis, output. The output is total product. So again, 2 workers per day produce 10 different books per day. 3 different workers produce 15 different books per day. So total product is easy. What's the marginal product? The name itself indicates it already. If you look at 1 additional worker, you try to understand, you try to see what's the additional number of books that can be produced using 1 additional worker. And it clearly is 6. Like if you go from 0 and you see and you take a look at the next worker, what is the number? What's the number of books that can be produced using 1 additional worker? The answer is 6. Look here, from 0 to 6. And then we started 1 worker. We started 1 worker and we want to have 1 additional worker, which means we go from 1 to 2. And there are, from 6 to 10, there are 4 additional books that can be produced using 1 additional worker here in this situation B. Going from situation C to D, we see there is 1 additional worker here and there are 5 additional books there, so the marginal product is 5. So marginal products, and this is really very, very important, very, very important for you to understand, the marginal product is always the additional output that can be produced, that can possibly be produced using 1 additional worker, using 1 additional quantity of input, the marginal product. What is the average product? The average product can be calculated using the following formula. Total product divided by workers per day, which means output divided by input. That's just the formula, the coefficient of having the average product. Like here, 6 different books are produced by 1 worker, which means 6 divided by 1 equals 6. 10 books produced by 2 different workers means that there is 10 divided by 2, which equals 5, that there is 5 books divided, that there is, what does that mean? That there are 5 different books produced per worker. 1 worker produces 5 books, so 2 workers produce 10. Here the same holds true for this situation, D. If there are 5 books produced by 1 worker, so 3 workers produce 15 books. That's really easy. I mean, it's totally easy, but it's very, very important. We can also graph those situations. The total product here, for example, total product and the marginal product. And there are very clear combinations between the 2 of them. Say here, the total product becomes steeper up to here. It becomes steeper here, and if the total product becomes steeper, then the marginal product rises. The marginal product rises if and only if the total product becomes steeper. And if the total product becomes less steep, if it becomes less steep, then the marginal product goes down. So this is a very important aspect for you to know, for you to understand. If the marginal product goes down, then the total product becomes less steep. That's very, you need to keep that in mind. And then one additional aspect is that this situation here on the graph only is technologically efficient. It is technologically efficient if you put in this number of labor, this number of workers per day, then producing efficiently, you get this output. You get this output here. It is attainable here. It can be attained. All those situations can be attained, and those situations cannot be attained. You're just using that number of workers per day, you can never produce this output. It is not possible at all. So two things. First, attainable, unattainable, technologically efficient here on the graph. Second, the combination between total labor and marginal labor. Marginal labor goes up if and only if the total product becomes steeper and steeper and steeper, and if it becomes less steep, then marginal product goes down, which is from here. And if there ever was a maximum of total product, and total product would go down afterwards, then the marginal product would be 0 at this single point. So if there was a maximum, like for example here, I can just as well grab it here. If there was a maximum, we would have here, we would have a marginal product of 0. That's it for now. Thank you for watching.